Calling from a 610 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Sam, it's Dell from Philadelphia. How's it going?
Who is it?
Dell from Philadelphia.
Dell?
From Philadelphia.
Okay, Dell, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I was just watching a clip of Hillary Clinton in India. She was basically saying that she won in places that mattered and places with more optimism, and she was kind of still not taking any responsibility for the election.
Right.
And the Hill had an article on her campaigning possibly for Democrats at the midterms, and I'm just wondering how this is possible. Like, how, after everything we've been through, after all the damage that Trump's done, from Supreme Court to ICE, how Democrats still haven't learned that lesson, and how Democrats could possibly think it would be a good idea to.
Well, all right. Well, here, let me respond to you. I mean, your phone's not great, so I'm going to hang up on you, but I'll respond. First off, there's a couple of things that I take issue with. This notion of Democrats learning a lesson. Like, I don't know who you mean by Democrats in this instance.
Oh, he means the Democratic Party establishment,
but
I think.
Right now, like, running against the DCCC is like a good move in a Democratic primary, right? Like, coming out and saying that I'm running against DCCC, running against Nancy Pelosi is not a bad move in some of these districts.
Well, it is and it isn't, right? Because then they can release Oppo research on you.
Sure, but so won't the Republicans. I mean, the point being that there are people, and look, I didn't think it was helpful for Hillary Clinton to be going out there and making the point that, like, places like Pennsylvania's 18th are irrelevant the day before a big race in Pennsylvania's 18th. I mean, that's just bad politics. But to the extent that someone running for Congress makes a determination that it's helpful to have Hillary Clinton in their district, that individual will take the responsibility for it and know their district. I mean, if Hillary Clinton beat Donald Trump in a district where I'm running as a congressperson, then yeah, I'm going to have her come.
Hi, Hillary.
Hi.
Let me explain. I think I have a little bit of so I actually made the same point the other day that, like, it's district by district with her, and I buy that. And I think that there is obviously some element of, like, there's two crazy cults, and one cult loves her, which is bizarre, and there's one cult that hates her, and they're both kind of imbalanced. But the problem that I really had with those statements that she made in India is I think that in the public mind, like, in the last 30 years, there's been two things that are definitely not necessarily connected, but they are connected in the public mind because they've happened at the same time, which is that there's been some real advancements that are now under attack, obviously, on, gay rights as an example, and a certain expansion of like multiculturalism and inclusiveness that has also come at the same time as globalization has wrecked the economy and livelihoods of a lot of people. So I think it's our job, really fundamentally, lesson or not lesson, to de-link those two things. And Hillary Clinton at literally a tech summit in India trashing a part of the country who are behind economically in the context of correctly attacking racism and sexism is a horrible message. Yes. And a problem. So I mean, it's legitimate to criticize her.
I totally agree. I said it the day before the race when those.
No, but I think that's the part that goes beyond her as a personality in this endless processing of her.
I get it. Bad comments for whomever is a high-profile Democrat, particularly the timing, was just ludicrous. And fortunately, there was like 12 stories that day about Donald Trump, firing whatever it was. And so nobody reported on it until, like, briefly it filtered out for the rest of the week. And she's doing this in India. But I think, like, the significance of it probably greater for people who are just, tired of Hillary Clinton than for the party, because I don't think.
You don't see a through line between that comment and overlap with Chuck Schumer saying, for every voter we lose in a blue-collar district, we pick up a suburban Republican
that was
woman.
Ed Rendell, but
No, Chuck Schumer said
Chuck
that.
Schumer said it too?
Yes.
Yeah, I do think that's I think that is a problem, but it's not the same. I mean, look, just politically speaking, Chuck Schumer is saying some inside baseball as to like we're trying to appeal to these people as opposed to those people. Like Hillary in that speech or that question answer period was literally basically saying like they don't matter because they don't drive the GDP, and that is like, I think there is a problem with Chuck Schumer in terms of like where they're fishing for what message they think can resonate and where they think they're getting those votes. I mean, we quite saw that. It did not happen. It did not work out that way in 2016. But there's another sort of like the argument that she's making is not.
Also, I have one more question for you. I feel like, do you ever you have a problem with people say like learn a lesson in almost like a moral way, which I get is bizarre, but like literally learn a lesson, like devise a better electoral strategy. That's a totally different thing.
Right. But it's also like, there's a
should
presumption.
Theoretically always be learning lessons to improve performance, right?
But there's a presumption there that like, that they just couldn't figure it out. Like, no, the people who ran, Chuck Schumer doesn't run on that because he thinks this is a good electoral strategy. It's because he has ideological priors that make him want to believe that and try and make that the outcome.
And he has campaign contributions to match his ideology.
Well, I mean, yes, because people see like, oh, he's one of me, I'm going to give money. It doesn't work the other way around.
Same water.
Yeah, Chuck Schumer doesn't have to change Chuck Schumer's not selling out. This is who Chuck Schumer is. And they're just saying like, oh, you're like me, I'm going to give you money. And so really what has to happen is, people just sitting around waiting for Democrats to learn a lesson. No, the lesson has to be learned by people who want to get rid of those people. And that means like you have to take their jobs, like literally take their jobs. That's the lesson that needs to be learned. They're not going to learn a lesson because their lesson is just like, how do I further my ideological perspective or my perspective? It's not, if they genuinely believe, like there's nobody there going like, I'm willing to work against the success of the party just so that I can maintain my power. No one has that level of consciousness. They just think that like, oh, I'm right. This is, and I'm going to, shape the world in the way that I think it should be.
Also, it's less risky to be wrong this way, which is an interesting point that Ryan Grimm makes. That like if you just do the same strategy over and over again and you fail, so what? But if you try something new,
you could apply this
ass covering
to every institution in the world. Like the day I got on a sitcom was the day it became eminently easier for me to get the second sitcom, the third sitcom. Like, I'm not going out on a limb. ABC hired him. I'm NBC. I'm going to hire him. Boom. It's like so much easier at that point, and you just got to lock into that first job.
Well, this is why we make the distinction between reforming the Democratic Party and taking it over in a hostile fashion. Like, I don't think we're going to change people like Chuck Schumer. I think we just need to replace them.
Well, but the way you reform a party, in my mind, is you take it over. Like, there is no party that's just out there. It's just a series of individuals who have jobs.
I guess I'm talking about the people who are in charge of the party then.
Yeah, kick them out. They're not going to, you're not going to teach them anything new.
Yeah,
but I like
just
that you
crawl
tease this
inside
out.
of its empty, hollowed out shell and wear it as a suit.
I like that.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. I would have gone with a slightly different image, but I like that you tease that out because I think people like you have a actually much more ruthless and cynical perspective than other people who talk in those moralistic terms. That's right. But you got to keep teasing it out.
They're not going to learn.
They're just going to need to lose.
They're going to have to lose in the battle between. Yes. Yeah.
Power. I'm not talking lose to Republicans.
Right.
Lose to us.